Okay. Today we are going to continue working with subordinate clauses and we'll kind of see how far we get today. Coming up this week, what you're going to be doing as soon as we get through this is revising your character analysis essays. Or actually, maybe we'll do your ACT essays actually. So that you can actually put into practice what we're studying. So when I was in high school, we would like do kind of worksheets and in the workbook and kind of like we've been doing, but then we'd finish the unit and then we just go on with something else. And what we know about grammar is that if you don't have a chance to actually practice what you're learning, your brain never puts it into the memory bank of things you need to hold on to. Unless you're a weird, like, English person like me and then you just remember it. Okay? So we're going to keep working on this worksheet as a practice. We're actually going to do another worksheet as a practice, and then I'm going to give you the worksheets that will be your assigned, like, graded ones. So what you need to have in front of you right now is your grammar cheat sheet and your sentence note cards so that you can keep that information at the front of your mind. I'm going to give you 1 minute to get that stuff out, and I want you to read over the note card that has the directions on it. Find the note card with the directions. Okay, we're going to go through all the steps on the directions note card for each sentence. Moment of reflection. You can answer if you want. Do you find this stuff to be like super easy? You don't need any more practice. That would be like a fist. To a 5, this is so difficult you can barely even follow along. Just self-reflection. You don't have to tell me the answer, but if I was asking you, fist would be so easy you don't need any more practice. A 5 is you can't even follow along. It's so complicated. So if you're at a 3 or above, this is really difficult for you. You have to take the time to go through the directions. Every single sentence. If you're a 0, 1, or 2, you're going to find the directions going through that for every sentence is a little bit repetitive and like unnecessary for you, but just do me the courtesy of going through it at least for now, okay? If eventually you don't need to do that, that's okay, but we're going to pretend like everyone still needs it today. All right, we're on sentence number 3. It gets really sloppy, I know that. Sentence number 3 says, over the next few months, Pizarro plotted his escape from his employer. Okay, on the directions card, it says cross out prepositional phrases first. What are they? Are there any? Over the next few months, Pizarro plotted his escape from his employer.
Over the next few months from his employer.
Over the next few months, from his employer. Locate the verbs.
Plotted.
Plotted, who plotted?
Pizarro.
Pizarro. One subject verb pair, what does that tell us? It's a simple sentence, meaning
Underline.
it will all be a single underline. We're gonna skip number 4, okay, because it's a simple sentence also. Number 5, young Pizarro and 2 of his friends set off to find their fortunes in Seville, 150 miles away.
In Seville. Is to find their fortune on. I know.
It would be a verbal, so we'll get rid of it. There's one more. Most famous preposition.
Of his.
So one that a squirrel can't go. Okay. Young Pizarro and 2 set off. We're just gonna ignore this too because it's an adjective. So it's a long sentence, but it must be simple because there's only one verb. Which is what?
Set off.
Set, yeah. Number 6. The man who would one day mesmerize his Peruvian host with his powerful steed and gleaming armor made his most important journey on foot, clad in a coarse shirt and short breeches. Long sentence. Prepositions. Don't shout them out. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to cross them out yourself. There are 3. Tay, what's one of them?
In a cool shirt and short breeches.
Okay. In a coarse shirt and short breeches. Emma?
On foot.
On foot. Does one of you two have the other one?
I do.
What is it?
With his powerful steed and gleaming armor.
With his powerful steed and gleaming armor. Okay, so we have the man who would one day mesmerize his Peruvian host made his most important journey. Just pretend it's a period, because that's a verbal down there, so. Okay, verbs. Host can be a verb, but in this sentence, it's a noun. It's the people, his Peruvian host, as in the people who hosted him.
Made.
Okay, one of them is made,
Mesmerize.
and the other one is mesmerize. Well, technically it's would mesmerize. Okay. On the pink note card, which number do you have that says pronoun subordinators are their own subjects? Rule number 3. This is a very important rule. Pronoun subordinators are their own subject. So if you look in your subordinators box down at the bottom on your grammar cheat sheet, it says pronouns. Most of those words start with what letters? WH. Are there any THs in that box? There's some THs too, right? Okay, so do we have a WH word in sentence number 6?
Yeah, who?
Who. If there is a verb after who, which there is, you always have a subordinate clause there. So what would the subordinate clause in this sentence be? Starts with who. How far does it go?
Who would one day memorize
Yes, keep going.
his Peruvian host?
Okay, so my next question is, how do you know when the clause ends? It would be when the sentence ends. But you can't start a sentence with who, so you have to pretend it's man. The man would one day mesmerize his Peruvian hosts with his powerful steed and gleaming armor. That is all part of the subordinate clause. So that all gets circled. Okay, you have to do a little check. If you cover up the subordinator and put a noun in there for this one, do you have a complete sentence? Like, let's say it was he. He would one day mesmerize his Peruvian host with his powerful steed and gleaming armor. Complete sentence? Yep. Remember, a subordinate clause has to be a complete sentence if you cover up the subordinator. Okay, so in this sentence, there's only one more verb. So the main clause is, the man made his most important journey on foot, clad in a coarse shirt and short breeches. Whoops, sorry. Okay, number 7. Penniless, the young men lived on dry bread and whatever wild fruit they could scavenge. Actually, you know what? Ignore number 7. We can't do that one. It's got too many complicated problems. Number 8. They slept wherever they could find hospice from nature, in peasants' hovels, under bridges, and in ancient Roman ruins. Step number 1, cross out the prepositional phrases. One of the prepositions is pretty long in that sentence. Step number 2, find the verbs. There's technically 3 verbs, but one of them's a helping verb that goes with a main verb. Remember, the helping verbs are all written on your grammar cheat sheet as well. We should probably sing that song someday just for fun, because I like to sing.
Did you say there's 3 verbs?
There are technically 3.
If I just put one in between.
What?
If I put one in between 2.
Yep, that's fine. Okay, step number 3 on the directions says find the locate subordinator, right? Oh, connect subject to verbs. Okay, is there a subordinator? Remember, I'm giving you a really important clue with the beginning letters of words. What are the beginning letters of those words that I said are almost always subordinators? WH and TH. Is there a WH word in this sentence? Oh, yeah, there is. Is it on the pronoun list? On your grammar cheat sheet? In the subordinator box? Yes, it is. So, annotate the sentence with circles and underlines. What would you do? I see you've all learned to bring a pencil for this, so very good. Go ahead and mark it. It's practice. Okay, this is a complex sentence. It has a single underline. The main clause is they slept. Is that a good sentence? Not particularly, but it is a complete sentence. It has a subject and a verb. That's all that you technically need. It expresses a complete thought. It tells what they did. And the subordinate clause starts with the subordinator wherever. So if you cover up wherever and the sentence said, they could find hospice from nature in peasants' hovels, under bridges, and in ancient Roman ruins. It is a complete sentence. Add the subordinator. It's no longer a complete sentence. Did you get it right? Mostly? Sorta. Okay, good. Let's go down to number... Let's see, we're not doing number 10. That one's way too complicated. 9's too easy. Let's go to 11. Okay, same thing. Cross out the prepositional phrases. There are technically 2.
Morgan Rosander, could you please report to the office? Morgan Rosander, please report to the office. Thank you.
Okay, so you should have crossed out in the middle of a war. Next one, verbs. Take a moment to mark the verbs. So we have was, join, and was accepted, technically. Okay, what do we know about join? It's got the word to in front of it. That makes it a verbal, so we're gonna cross it out. Is it a verb? Sort of. But it doesn't have a subject, so it doesn't count as a verb in the sentence. Okay. One of the notes that you have written down is when there's a comma at the beginning of a sentence, you need to take pause. Is this whole clause a prepositional phrase? No, it's not. That means it probably has a verb, which it does. Is because a subordinator. Yes, it is a very important one. When you were little, like in elementary school, do you recall your teachers telling you it wasn't okay to start sentences with because? The reason elementary teachers do that is because elementary students can't process how to use because as the first word in a sentence. Elementary kids would say, they would answer every question by saying, because. And if you have little children in your life, you know that because is a word that they use a lot. When you grow up, so from now on, you can count this as your moment of growing up, you can start a sentence with because, as long as what? What do you have to do if you have because as the first word in a sentence? What did this writer do? Used a comma and followed the comma with
Subject.
a complete sentence. So, this sentence has a main clause. Pizarro's application was immediately accepted. It also has a subordinate clause because Spain was in the middle of a war. So it's okay to begin a sentence with because as long as you write a complex sentence that has a main clause. Okay, here's what I'd like you to do. Grady, turn around and join that table. And you four can work together. I want you three over there to do the evens that are remaining on the page, and you four to do the odds that are remaining on the page. Okay? So I'm going to give you 9 minutes-ish